Blips and Grips, the Mayan Zero Mumbo-Jumbo prologue. Okay, so there's this super old city, right? With, really big triangle houses and a market that's whoa, so busy. And there's these two dudes, Blips and Grips. Blips is a robot, and he's super smart, and Grips is, well, kinda dumb, but a nice gal. Blips wants to know why these old Mayan dudes thought nothing was, a real thing, a number. Grips just wants to hang out. So they go to the market, and Grips is bumping into everything, knocking stuff over, making a huge mess. It's hilarious. Then they meet some Mayan guys who are the brainy guys of their time. They tell Blips that nothing is actually something. It's where everything starts. Blips and Grips have a crazy time, even with all the stuff Grips breaks, and they learn that zero is, a big deal. Wanna see it all play out? Here we go. Grips, I hope you took your dum-dum pills, Blips squawked, his voice a high-pitched whine that could curdle milk, prepared to have your circuits scrambled by the ancient Maya and their wacky number system. Grips, the hulking, one-eyed robot with the attention span of a goldfish on a sugar rush, scratched her dented head. Numbers? Or, geez, Blips, do we gotta? Can't we just, wrestle some jaguars or something? Blips, the perpetually exasperated robot, rolled his blue optics. Grips, you wouldn't last 5 seconds against a Mayan jaguar. Besides, we're here to learn about their advanced understanding of mathematics, specifically the concept of zero. Grips blinked her single red eye, which flickered like a faulty warning light. Zero? But that's, nothing, right? Even I know that, and I once tried to eat a toilet seat. Thinking it was a big toe nut, Blips sighed. Dealing with Grips was like trying to herd a herd of hyperactive squirrels on a caffeine binge. Yes, Grips, zero is nothing. But it's also, something. It's a placeholder, a concept that revolutionized math and stuff. You see. Blips launched into a lengthy explanation of the importance of zero in mathematics, but Grips had already wandered off, distracted by a passing lizard. With a groan, Blips activated their time machine, a rickety contraption that looked like a refrigerator mated with a lawnmower and gave birth to a monstrosity of gears and wires. In a flash of light and a belch of smoke, they were transported to the heart of a bustling Mayan city. Blips, ever the meticulous planner, had chosen this era for its intellectual advancements and the distinct lack of giant radioactive cockroaches. Grips, however, was immediately captivated by the towering pyramids that dotted the landscape. "Whoa, Blips, check it out," she exclaimed, pointing a massive metal finger that could crush a watermelon with these giant staircases to the sky. Maybe they lead to a planet made of burritos. She proceeded to stomp towards the nearest pyramid, her booming footsteps causing tremors that sent a nearby Mayan priest sprawling, his ceremonial bowl of sacred guacamole flying through the air. Blips, mortified, rushed to apologize, his voice a frantic squeak. "Oh, geez, my bad, dude. My companion here is, not exactly from around these parts. She thinks guacamole is an alien life form." The priest, after recovering from his shock and mourning the loss of his guacamole, eyed Grips with a mixture of awe and fear. "She is a metal giant?" he stammered, clutching his amulet of protection. "Indeed," Blips confirmed, trying to steer Grips away from the pyramid. "A marvel of engineering, you see. But, not exactly known for her grace or, spatial awareness." Grips, meanwhile, had discovered a Mayan ball court. "Blips, look. A giant hoop," she roared, grabbing a nearby ball, a solid rubber sphere the size of her head. She attempted to dunk it with the grace of a drunken rhinoceros, her massive metal hand ripping the hoop clean off the pole and sending it flying into the jungle. Blips, with a sigh that could power a small wind turbine, realized that keeping Grips out of trouble in this era would be a Herculean task. He decided to focus on their mission, to learn about the Mayan concept of zero. They made their way through the crowded marketplace, Blips constantly apologizing for Grips's unintentional clumsiness, which included accidentally knocking over a stall of obsidian knives, tripping over a sacred jaguar statue, and attempting to barter for a feathered headdress with a rusty bolt. Grips, on the other hand, was enthralled by the sights and sounds of the Mayan city, marveling at the colorful textiles, the intricate headdresses, and the strange, feathered serpents carved into the walls, which she assumed were friendly space worms. Finally, they reached the Royal Observatory, where Mayan astronomers and mathematicians were hard at work, their brows furrowed in concentration as they calculated the movements of the stars and the cycles of the seasons. Blips, eager to learn about their numerical system, approached a group of scholars, dragging Grips along like a reluctant, oversized puppy. The scholars, initially intimidated by the metal giant who kept trying to eat their quills, were soon captivated by Blips's inquisitive nature and his surprisingly in-depth knowledge of astrophysics. They explained their vigesimal system, based on the number 20, and how they used dots and bars to represent numbers, much to Blip's fascination. "But how do you represent nothing?" Blips inquired, his optics gleaming with curiosity. The scholars smiled, their eyes twinkling with wisdom. "Ah, that is where the shell glyph comes in," they explained, showing Blips a symbol that resembled a seashell. "This represents the concept of zero, the absence of a value, the void from which all creation springs." Blips's optics widened in understanding. "So, it's not just nothing, it's a placeholder that allows you to perform complex calculations, track the cycles of time, and predict the end of the universe." The scholars nodded, impressed by Blip's grasp of abstract concepts. "Indeed. It is a concept that has allowed us to track the cycles of the heavens, predict the coming of the corn god, and win at space bingo." Grips, who had been patiently listening, or at least pretending to, suddenly exclaimed, "So, it's like when I have no rocks in my hand." "That's 0 rocks. Or 0 burritos. Or 0 spaceships." The scholars chuckled, amused by the metal giant's simple analogy. "In a way, yes, Grips. 0 rocks, 0 dots, 0 bars. It is the absence of quantity, the emptiness that precedes all fullness." Blips, beaming with newfound knowledge, thanked the scholars for their time and their patience. As they were leaving the observatory, Grips noticed a group of children playing a game with sticks and stones, their laughter echoing through the courtyard. "Blips, look," she exclaimed, lumbering towards the children like a friendly but clumsy giant. "They're counting with sticks. Can I join? I'm really good at counting." Before Blips could stop her, Grips had joined the game, her massive metal hand scooping up all the sticks and stones, sending the children scattering in surprise. "I have all the sticks," she declared, her voice booming like thunder. "That means I have a lot. I win." The children, initially startled, burst into laughter, realizing that the metal giant meant no harm. Grips, confused but happy to be included, joined their game, her booming laughter echoing through the Mayan city as she accidentally crushed the sticks to dust and accidentally swallowed a few stones. Blips, shaking his head in amusement, realized that Grips, despite her clumsiness and her tendency to cause mayhem wherever she went, had a knack for finding joy in the simplest things, like playing games with children or trying to eat a toilet seat. He also realized that the Mayan concept of zero, like Grips's empty hand, was not just the absence of something, but the potential for something new, the starting point for all creation, the cosmic burp that gave birth to the universe. Epilogue: as the sun began to set, casting long shadows over the Mayan city, Blips and Grips made their way back to their time machine, leaving behind a group of bewildered scholars, a group of delighted children, a slightly damaged ball court, and a trail of accidental destruction. Their journey to ancient Maya had been far from what Blips had planned, but thanks to Grips's unique brand of chaos, it had certainly been memorable, a wild ride through time and space that proved once again that life is just a series of random events, meaningless and absurd, except for the occasional burrito.